Parenting during stressful times is quite frankly a nightmare. We are not at our best, and kids require a lot of patience. The thing is, when we are under a lot of stress, patience is in very short supply. So, today I have 10 tips to help us navigate these very stressful situations. There are times in our lives when we are under an unusual amount of stress. Starting a new job, being laid off from a job, going through a divorce, welcoming a brand new baby, moving, the death of a family member, all of these bring a tremendous amount of unusual stress. I mean, we can all agree that life is always pretty stressful, right? But these types of events really are extra hard, and we might find our parenting is really in a rough spot because of that. So, first thing on the list is to give yourself grace. We do not do this enough as parents. We expect perfection. We expect to always be patient and loving and kind to our children, and of course, this is what we want, and in a perfect world, that's what we would give them, and they deserve that, but that is just not real life. We are going to have times when we are not at our best. We are at our wits' end, right? We are going to have hard times where we're going to be just letting some things slide. And we are going to have times when we're just in survival mode, that's all we can do. Truly, that is all we have the capacity to do. So we are needing to do the bare minimum in these situations. So please don't be too hard on yourself. Remind yourself that your kid and all kids are very resilient and that you're trying your best. So just give yourself some grace and don't get too worked up about the things that are needing to be let go of in the temporary short term. Secondly, get really serious about priorities. So right now, I have a whirlwind going on where I'm needing to consciously choose what requires my time and energy each given day. So this relates to all of my life and the decisions going on and the things that I need to address, but it also is going to relate to my parenting. So all of us in this boat of stress right now, choose the tip-top priority of what you are going to focus on for your kid. And my best advice, try to prioritize your child's bedtime. And by prioritize, I mean be at the top of your game for that one thing. Be very consistent, establish the ground rules, and always uphold that. Try not to let that be the area that slides. Like, we're giving ourselves grace for a lot of these other things. Choose one thing that this is going to be consistent, and we are going to channel our energy to have this happen. So we might be allowing junk food right now, right? Like, who has time to deal with what our kid is eating? It's fine, whatever, right? Maybe they're having extra screen time. I am so stressed, I cannot always be managing, making sure they're only getting this much time on screens. Those are the types of things that are maybe sliding, right? We're giving ourselves some grace. We are just too swamped right now. But don't ease up on the bedtime rules and routines, okay? That's just my personal advice. So this needs to be a protected window of time where everybody knows what's expected. And this gives you time to yourself. So if your kid is young enough and having naps, same principle, or quiet time should be the rule during the day, like 2 windows of time, ideally, that you have to yourself to either get things done or to refuel your tank. And seriously, during times of stress especially, this is so important. Number 3, let people help you. So whether you have a support system or not, try to get one. You don't have to do this alone. You really don't. No matter what your situation is, you don't have to be alone. You are not alone. There are people around you that can help you. Family, friends, neighbors. Reach out and be creative. Rack your brain to come up with a plan of what they can do for you. Figure out what you're most overwhelmed by and start delegating anything and everything you possibly can. Maybe that's babysitting, maybe that's driving your kids to things, other adults for you to talk to and just feel supported by. All of these things are really valuable, and mostly you just need to make sure that you're not feeling too alone and just like you're all by yourself to figure out everything. Number 4 is to have quality time with your kids. I do have a whole video talking about the easy way of doing this. Basically, we want to utilize and maximize the time that we are already with our kids. So getting ready for the day, meals, any and all of those windows of time that you're just already with your kids doing stuff that you need to get done, but those are times that you can take advantage of as quality time to be totally present and focused on your kid. Making conversation, making eye contact, all that stuff. Go check out that video, but that will really help your kid feel like you are present during those times. They will feel like they have your attention. And really, if you're always distracted and you're always telling them, oh, hang on, or I'm so busy, or whatever we say to our kid all day long, because who has time to sit and have a conversation or whatever, they are going to feel that. They are going to probably be acting out more often, having more behavior problems. They're likely to be more whiny and basically just craving and begging for your attention. So if we can keep filling their cup up by just having those pockets of time throughout the day without taking any extra time, right? That's something we're already doing. Things are just gonna go more smoothly. So it really isn't anything that you need to be adding to your day or saying, oh my gosh, that's one more thing that I have to do. It's not even that. You're already doing those things, so just be fully present and focused on your child throughout the day. Number 5 is to give your kid a break. It's important that we consciously acknowledge the toll that our stress has on them. That is going to take a toll on them. They are going to feel it. They're going to notice. They're going to be struggling because of that. They are very in tune with us and aware. So don't discount the fact that because we're going through something hard, by default, they are going through something hard. So try to give them a little extra grace to just cut them a little bit of slack. That does not even mean that we're easing up on rules or letting them get away with anything that they don't normally get away with. It just means we're gonna try really hard to have extra patience to just consciously deal with them in the most loving way we possibly can. Number 6 is to talk to our kid about what's going on. So in the spirit of feeling our feelings, like I talk so much about, I feel like it's healthy for us to let our kids know where we're at. So like we said before, they notice, and it's not going to be any news to them that things are feeling different, right? But we're just having the decency to really acknowledge and tell them about it. We do not unload on them. We do not tell them all the details of our adult problems. We're not going to burden them or stress them out, but we do acknowledge that life is kind of stressful right now. We do acknowledge and own the fact that, gosh, yeah, I really don't have much patience right now. It's really healthy for our kids to hear that and be allowed to talk about it. They are going to be allowed to tell us what a bummer it is, right? And maybe they're going to express that you just never play with them anymore, or whatever it is that that they feel like they're noticing. We are allowing that, validating that, and hopefully we can even course correct a little bit. A little change would go a long way to know what's really hard for them and to just implement that a little bit better in our everyday. So take that as good information to have. Don't get defensive or anything. Just let them express that. And a lot of times expressing it is all they need. Number 7 is to try to keep the stress in its place. It is really so easy, I am finding, to get swallowed up in stress. Once our brain goes into that fight or flight mode, it's actually really easy to stay in that place long term. So you need to consciously decide that you're not going to be continuously stressed, right? You're not going to constantly just feel agitated and out of patience all the time now. That needs to be a temporary time in your life. So try to make the conscious effort as much as possible to acknowledge the stress and make sure that we're doing everything we can to get out of that survival mode. Even if our circumstances aren't really even changing, hopefully we can adjust in a healthier way so that we get out of that mode. Does that make sense? So it's just really not a sustainable way to live when it's just go, go, go. You're just on edge all the time, right? We have kids who need us. We can't afford to be in that mode long term. life happens, stuff comes up, and there are definitely times of those, those really stressful times, but they shouldn't be lasting months and months, years and years on end. If it does, try to adjust something in life, add in something, take away something, whatever you need to try to get to a more sustainable place. Number 8 is to really up your game with the self-care. So like we talked about a little bit when I mentioned bedtimes, you've really gotta get serious about self-care during these stressful times. So flipping the switch in your brain out of that fight or flight mode takes effort. So whatever refuels your tank, do that regularly. Exercise, take a bath, see your friends, being out in nature, read a book, seriously, whatever floats your boat. Anything that recharges you, build that into the everyday if at all possible. Number 9 is to perfect the art of biting your tongue. We feel stressed, right? Our fuse is very short, and our gut reaction to anything our kid is doing is going to be something along the lines of, stop, I cannot deal with that right now, right? So the reality is that no matter what storms are brewing in our own personal world, our kid is still going to be a kid, right? They're going to be disrespectful sometimes. They're going to make messes. They're going to hit their brother. They're going to disobey. All of that is just to be expected. And when life is stressful, believe it or not, our kids just don't get the memo, right? There isn't some button that we get to push on our kid that suddenly they're just going to stop doing the things that we don't want them to do because don't you know what mommy's going through? No, life does not work like that. It goes on like normal. In fact, as we mentioned, a lot of times we're going to be seeing more problems with our kids, right? They know something's off, so you're probably going to see that. So we need to find a way to really just decide firm rules and firm boundaries that are the top priority that need to be addressed, but to just do it in a very matter-of-fact way and not be saying things that we're going to regret later, and to not be making ourselves and our kid even more miserable just fighting this uphill battle or criticizing and doing all these negative things that aren't going to help anybody. So the ability to just say, it's not okay to hit. We're just going to try to kind of take emotion out of it. We're not going to give a huge lecture or completely yell and lose our mind. Just simply address what needs to be addressed and don't go into anything else. And then number 10 is to connect with your kid. So during those times that are really hard, let's say they just hit their brother, let's just focus on connection. Okay, I can see you're really mad. I know you know better than to hit your brother. What's going on? And then just listen. Let them talk, get out the tears if they need to, and just let them feel your presence. There is nothing more valuable in this moment that you could be doing with your time than to just sit with your child in this hard moment. There is so much to be said for somebody that is willing to sit in the hard with somebody else for those few moments. Let that be your focus and try to let all the other stresses fall away for just these few minutes, and you will be so surprised by the hours of tantrums that you will save, by the dozens of misbehaviors that you will prevent, for us to just let our kid know, I've got you, right? I'm in your corner. I'm right here. You've got this. We're a team. We're going to get through this. Those messages are going to be such a gift to your child. And, it's really an investment, like I said, for yourself. It feels hard to take those couple minutes, undivided attention, but your kid will feel that, and your kid will know you are the most important thing to me, right? That's the hardest thing during these stressful times. Our kids are gonna feel like we don't even care about them anymore, right? Because there is so much going on. We need to send a very clear message. They are still our priorities. Of course, they're our biggest responsibility. So we are going to make an extra effort in these difficult moments, especially, to be there for them. And for them to have no doubt in their mind that we love them and will continue to take care of them. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry the sun is setting. It's later than I usually film, but it's just been really nice to chat about this. Life gets really hard. Keep going, you guys. I know it's rough, but you are doing a great job. Keep your chin up, and we'll see you next time.